I want to welcome everybody back to Visible Kindness. Not that you took a commercial break or anything, but you just started a new episode. And I'm very excited to have Carrie Donatelli with me today. And there's a bunch of things I like about her, not only because she's got a very cool name, Carrie Donatelli. It's just a cool name. What I love about her is what she does with her life. She likes to make a difference in other people's lives. She's an author. She's writing a book about emotional healing. And I don't know why. I think it's because people know I need a lot of emotional healing in my life. I do. Everybody knows that. It could be from my brain surgery. I don't know. But I love talking to people who like to make a difference in other people's lives. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to a lot of other people too. So she has a goal, and that's to publish that this year, get that done. And she wants to convert, this is what I like what she's doing. She wants to convert her coaching and guidance business into helping small business owners. And that's what a lot of small business owners need. Because I know as a small business owner in the past, before I had a wild career with consulting for Fortune 500 companies, I struggled at knowing what to do with all the things that need to be done in a business to be successful, because it's not easy. And just putting stuff on social media doesn't give you the answers you're looking for when it comes to success. So I'm very excited, very interested to hear what she has to share with us today. So with that, I want to ask you, Carrie, to introduce yourself, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you. I'm Carrie Donatelli, just as Ed said, and I have a very varied background. I have a lot of skills in a lot of different areas. And I landed on operations support for other small businesses several years ago. I started my business doing that. So it was done for you services, accounting work, bookkeeping, HR, payroll. I supported in all of those services, other small businesses. So I had some bumps and hiccups in my business, and what I really decided, I needed to get laser focused on what lights me up, what makes me a happy girl. And that is teaching other people, coaching. And I had those services available, but most of the clients that I had and prospects that I would talk to were interested in offloading work and not necessarily, I mean, they were so busy, they didn't really want to focus on how to do it better, and hire people to do it for them. They wanted me to do the things and not really learn a whole lot. So I had a hard time really growing the coaching side of my business because of that limitation. And now I'm kind of rebuilding and rebranding that business to be that, just coaching. I'm not going to do done for you services. It's just not what lights me up inside. And I have the opportunity right now to focus and grow that part. So I'm super excited about that.
I'm excited about that too. And I think in general, people desire that more than done for you. But there's always a market for that, for sure. And I know a lot of people that have been guests of mine, just a lot of people that I know. If you're not a creator of videos like I am, or a web designer, or the things you need to run your business, you can go to I forget the names. There's so many,
all kind of gig work, right?
Yeah, exactly. That will do, and they're good at what they do, and that's what they do. But I'm with you on what you said when wanting to make a difference and really work with other people that are doing what you have, the mindset that you have, and it's actually a lot of times working as partners in a sense, but you're not partners, but you have the same mindset with where you're going and what you want to do, and they can gain from you. So give us an idea about where would you like to see this going in the next, I always say 3 to 5 years, because some people are going to say, on the internet, you can make something so fast, whatever. It takes you 3 to 5 years in any business. It doesn't matter. It does take that long. So kind of give us a bit of a roadmap where you're going.
I want to focus on bringing in coaching clients. So I'm thinking 5 to 10 by the end of this year, maybe grow up that up to 20 coaching clients, and focusing on those sessions as well as writing would be my dream. I want to have a few books published in the next 10 years. I'd love to talk on more platforms like your podcast, like other stages, and just share what I have, share what I know works.
I love that. I love. I'm looking forward to talking to you after the show. So, what would you say? What would you say has been? Give us one of the best experiences you've had so far when you've helped somebody else in that space.
I had a client who she needed everything. She was doing everything herself, and I mean, when you wear all of those hats, at some point you don't do much of it well
Sure.
or as thorough as it needs to happen. So I did all of the services for her, and I was coaching her as well, but I didn't charge her for that. So we built a really great relationship. I was kind of integrated with her team. I would come and have monthly meetings with her. I did all of her bookkeeping, payroll, HR. I created her policies and procedures manual. And through that time, I mean, we went through a lot together and we bounced off ideas to help her grow, how to survive the pandemic, how to overcome outrageous cost of goods because she had a floral business. So she was looking into getting into dried flowers because they, last longer and she could get them at a better price, things like that. And it was just really, really rewarding to me for that. We did separate at some point because she became so overwhelmed. She wasn't communicating well. And I felt the need to separate because I wasn't able to provide her the level of service that I wanted to because she was just not able to communicate what she needed anymore.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is that's part of the journey in
Yeah.
business. It just is.
And you transition away from some things and go do other things, and that's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I like what you're telling us, where you've been and where you're going. Tell us about the book you're writing.
I am writing a book on emotional trauma and healing from emotional trauma. I feel like all of us need it on some level, kind of a lot. And at this point in my life, I've learned so many different I've done, talk therapy. I've got a therapist who's amazing and has helped me so much through divorce, through mental abuse, all kinds of things. And I've worked with crystals, I do energy healings. I'm just really passionate about that part because emotional healing, emotional trauma can affect all areas of your life. I mean,
Absolutely.
it really can. You can internalize it and then it manifests as some ailment, physical illness. So it's not like all, oh my gosh, I have a physical therapist because I've got a knee injury and that's more important. Well, is it? Because if you're not healthy internally with
Yeah.
your emotions and how you
Yes.
process things, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. You're not going to communicate well. It will spill over into all areas. So I'm
Yes.
really passionate about that. After having healed so much of my trauma, I'm like, man, this is amazing. I want to share this with everybody.
Do you mind me asking you? Because I don't know this about your story. You don't have to talk about it at all. It's up to you. But I didn't know that you had trauma in your life. I think we all have a
Yes,
certain amount of trauma,
we
some
all
more
have
than others.
trauma,
Can you?
but
Can
I
you?
have had, I mean, I've been in domestic abuse. I've had a lot of physical, emotional, all the different ways of abuse with my first marriage. And I literally ran from him. I ran and hid from him. And luckily he cared about his reputation, so he didn't want anybody to know what was going on.
Right.
So
Yeah.
all I had to do was
Yeah.
say, hey, I'm going to go public with this. And he was like, okay, I'll give you whatever you want. And so he signed divorce papers. That's
Good
what I
for you.
wanted.
Good for you.
Thank you. So, and I thought getting away from that, and here it's 20 some years later, and stuff started popping back up for me. And I'm like, hold up, I healed that. Nuh-uh. No,
Yeah.
healing isn't linear and it is an ongoing process. So you can get better. You can heal past traumas, but I hadn't actually faced it head on. And the only way through around is through. I mean, we've said it all, it's all over the place. It's one of those catchphrases. It's true. You got to go through it. You have to
Yeah.
really face those shadows in order to button it up.
Let me
And
ask
I
you.
still have things come up.
Let me
So,
ask you a question about trauma. And one of the things I love about this show is I get to ask my guests questions that because they're personal for me and they help me.
yes. Well, I'm happy to help.
And yes, there's gain in it for everybody, but these are things I go through a lot. The question was, I've had some people say that you can overcome trauma like really fast with something really fast, and like the next day you can be like PTSD or you're having this or that. And I've just never accepted that because it's too complicated as a human being to be instantly healed from something. And I'm not sure if I've actually met anybody who has actually really
Yeah.
accomplished that. They may tell you, but I don't know. There is I mean I got a brain surgeon as a friend, and I'll guarantee he will not tell you that you're going to get healed that quickly over
Yeah.
trauma like that.
Well, I will say there are some tools that I've learned that can shift energy quick. In order for it to shift and stay shifted, it's a process.
Yes,
So,
yeah,
yes, you can feel better quickly. You have to keep at it.
yeah,
You have to keep at it. The people will be like, oh, I'm healed. I'm healed. Well, that's wonderful. I'm so happy that you've healed. But maybe 10 years down the road, a trigger happens and they get an emotional or a physical trauma response that they have no idea it came. And it happened to me just about 6 months ago. So
wow,
it can be powerful. And then I'm like, okay, I got work to do. I got to
yes.
fix the shadow. So,
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know. I always like getting to know people like I'm getting to know you, which is pretty much everybody I talk to, because you don't get to know people until you talk to them.
right.
That's interesting. So what gave you the motivation to go from your experiences in life like this into coaching and helping other? Is it women you help?
Yeah. Women business owners are my passion.
Answer that. Just so it's a two-part question. One is what got you into the direction of helping others build their businesses as opposed to like the term you mentioned a minute ago. What was it?
The done for you services.
Yeah, instead of getting out of the done for you services, which is not bad if that's what you're driven for, then
It's a lot of work. And I mean, not that I'm afraid of working, but I want to teach people because I've made the mistakes.
when it comes. Do you mean when it comes to business?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I helped I helped other people. I helped friends and colleagues start their businesses and grow them. I've gained all of these skills in the operations kind of area. Um, and before, it was after I had my daughter, but she was a wee baby. And I was helping my friend build his business. He reached out to me. We worked together in construction, and he was like, I need a Carrie Donatelli. And I said immediately yes. I was able to work remotely. I helped him build his business from 4 people to 20 people within a year and a half ish. And eventually I transitioned away because it just wasn't feasible for me to be working in Denver when his company was in Pennsylvania. And, it was fine. It was valid. It was too much work for me to handle remotely or just by myself. But I gained all of those skills and I thought, I don't want to do this on my own. And when my daughter was starting to get ready for kindergarten, I started my business. I started networking. I didn't need the money right away. So I started networking and kind of getting myself out there, offering different skill sets. I wrote business plans for people. I started their bookkeeping systems and then trained them on how to do it. And it was so rewarding to me. I thought the done for you services was the way to go. But then as I was doing these services, I was also educating my clients on the correct way to do their financials. And with that coming starting a business, you got to register with the Secretary of State. You got to go to unemployment. You got to get X, Y, and Z. And I want to I just I've got all of this knowledge, and so many business owners have no idea you have to do all of that because I met them. I mean, they came to me as clients and they wanted me to do their bookkeeping, but here they hadn't done any of these preliminary steps. And I I mean, you have to build the blocks. You have to build it up from the ground and not start at the fifth floor, you know what I mean?
I do, I do, and I think often for people that are just getting in started, especially today, because it looks and sounds like social media business, no big deal.
It is a big deal,
but it is a big deal.
Not immediate.
And I can tell you, after working for Fortune 500 companies at the highest level, there's a lot of these companies. I mean, they look fantastic. They're amazing how they're doing, and they didn't get there just because the brand is good and the commercials are good.
Right.
I mean, it boils down to very strategic efforts that put them where they are, and failures. As a matter of fact, I read, this was a couple years ago at Christmas time. I read a book. It was the guy who was the founder of the Nike Corporation. It was his autobiography. When we hear Nike, we think incredible, but he didn't see anything as incredible at all along the way. And he was losing so much money as he was building this thing. It wasn't like, wow, that must have been awesome to build that. Look at him now. It wasn't like that. It was a very, very good, very well written book. Yeah, you'd enjoy that. That was
One of my biggest mentors, who is a huge success now, had several companies just fail. Like, he was bankrupt and then he built it all back up, and he learned the lessons, and I think there's a lot of value in that.
So that's what you're driving for. That's where you want to get to. I believe you can. I believe anybody can do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do. I mean, because I think you have a wonderful personality. You got experience. You got background, and you have a heart after people, and how people live and survive makes a difference to you.
Yeah, it really does.
And that's something people need today in every levels of our lives. We're coming to the end of our show, so I wanted to ask you, is there anything that you thought of before you came on the show that you wanted to say or talk about that we haven't yet?
I wanted to get the book that I have out there. It's called Life Lit Up. It's a collection of stories from overcomers. So all had terrible circumstance and overcame whatever it was. And everybody was thriving and successful. So
really nice. Well, it has been awesome having you on the show, and I'm so glad that you're here in Denver. We definitely have to go for coffee. We were talking about that before we hit record, and we'll have to do that because I need to get out more often. I do. I really do. And so it's been a real pleasure. I just want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today, and I look forward to putting it out there and promoting your book, what you're doing, and I wish all the very best for you because I have no doubt that you're going to have it. It'll come your way.
thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate you.